Gil Martin here. The Locked On Road to the NHL trade deadline continues as the Boston Bruins are the latest team to make a big move. They acquire forward Tyler Bertuzzi from the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit gets back a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 fourth-round pick. And with me to discuss that, plus the big news on David Pastrnak, Ian McLaren of Locked On Boston Bruins. Ian, your thoughts on the Bertuzzi deal?
I am ecstatic about it, to be honest. Personally, I've been a fan of Bertuzzi's for quite some time. He actually played junior hockey in my town here in Guelph. He played for the Guelph Storm, won an OHL championship with them in 2014, went to the Memorial Cup, and set junior highs for him the next season with like 98 points that next season for the Storm. I've always been a huge fan of his style of play. I've referred to him as Brad Marchand light in the past. He can score, he can get at people's faces, and he's exactly the kind of player that I wanted to see Boston pick up to add to their forward mix for the playoff run.
So you mentioned the forward mix. Where does Tyler Bertuzzi fit in to the lineup?
It's a bit tricky at the moment. Not everyone is healthy right now. Nick Foligno is out. Taylor Hall is out, reportedly seeking a second opinion on his lower body injury. When healthy, I would expect that he would fit in on the third line, ideally with Taylor Hall, Charlie Coyle, Tyler Bertuzzi. That would make up arguably the best third line out there. The Rangers kid line is pretty good now that I think about it. But yeah, everybody healthy. Tyler Bertuzzi should be on the third line. And I mean, as good of a third liner as you could get on the trade market, I believe, this season.
And what is it about his skill set that has you so excited?
Like I said, he's able to produce offensively. Last year, he had career highs in goals and points in only 68 games played. I think he had 62 points, 30 goals total. He's a guy that, yeah, like I said, kind of like a Brad Marchand light. He knows where to go on the ice. He gets in the dirty areas, not afraid to mix it up by any stretch of the imagination. He has been hindered a bit this season by injury. He experienced injuries on both hands this season. So he's been limited in terms of games played. He's only got 14 points this season, 4 goals, I believe. But his shooting percentage is, I think, 8 points below his career average. So hopefully, as an unrestricted free agent, pending with a new contract on the horizon, playing with the Boston Bruins in a lower, for him, pressure situation. He doesn't have to carry the offense by any stretch. And as he gets healthier, he can really be a meaningful contributor to the Stanley Cup hopefuls at this point.
And you mentioned, or we mentioned at the top, an extension for David Pastrnak. Talk to me about that. What are the terms and what does it mean for the Bruins?
Yeah, so this just came out less than a half an hour after the Bruins officially announced the Bertuzzi trade. He has signed for the max 8 years, $11.25 million per season. That shatters the record cap hit that the Bruins signed Charlie McAvoy to at 9.5, by far the highest paid player, almost doubling his current salary. And it's well deserved. I mean, he's one of the best players in the NHL this season. He'd be on track to win his second Richard Trophy if Connor McDavid hadn't decided that he wanted to be the best goal scorer in the league this season. And it just brings a sigh of relief to Bruins fans all over the place. Nobody wanted to go really past the trade deadline not knowing whether or not he was going to be re-signed. Certainly nobody wanted to finish the season, head into free agency with uncertainty there. And, you know, the Bruins, after the trade they've made with the Washington Capitals last week, now the Bertuzzi trade, they only have one pick in the first 2 rounds over the next 3 years. And keeping David Pastrnak in the mix hopefully will delay that inevitable rebuilding process. He alone should be able to attract free agents. Guys will want the opportunity to play with him. Perhaps they're able to bring Bertuzzi back in the mix if he's a fit. There's long-term questions about who's going to play center for this team if Bergeron or Krejci don't return next season. But having Pastrnak in the mix for another 8 years, Charlie McAvoy signed long-term, Hampus Lindholm as well. You have Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman, who's a restricted free agent. He'll get signed soon. And while the Bruins are certainly very much all in this season, having Pastrnak remain is a great sign for the future for this team, that it's not just kind of a last dance scenario and they're going to fold up and restart next season, but they're committed to building a competitive team year in and year out here.
All right. Well, be sure to check out Locked On Boston Bruins for more on this move and all things Bruins. Keep it dialed in the Locked On NHL all along the road to the NHL trade deadline. This is the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.